They say every small-town diner has its stories. Some are whispered over sweet tea and chicken fried steak. Others are never told at all. But there's one story from a place called Maggie's Griddle, just outside Ellis Bend, that folks still talk about, even if they don't always say it out loud. Not because it's full of scandal or gossip, but because it's the kind of story that changes how you see people, even ones you've passed by 100 times. It happened during a week in late June, the kind of southern heat that makes the air feel like soup. The AC unit had been on the fritz for days, and nobody from corporate had come to fix it. So the staff just learned to live with its sweat trickling down their necks, clothes sticking to their skin, tempers simmering like the grease traps in the back. Tasha Bell had been working the lunch rush since before 11, same as she did most weekdays. Quiet, focused, not one to waste words. Folks knew her, in the way you know someone who's always there but never lets you in. She moved between booths with a sort of graceful efficiency, never rushed, never idle, just steady. Most people never noticed the way her sleeves never rolled up, no matter how hot it got. A crisp blue uniform blouse, always buttoned to the cuffs. But that Wednesday, the heat had finally gotten to her. Her sleeves were up just enough to expose the burn scars on her left arm. They started near her wrist and climbed upward in jagged trails, the skin a mosaic of pink and brown and silver. Most people glanced and looked away, maybe uncomfortable, maybe just polite. But not the crew at Booth 9. For guys, probably in their 30s, off-duty from a local paving company. Loud, the kind of guys who used to run varsity in high school and never quite left the locker room. They had beers in front of them and jokes flying between them, some too crude for a family diner. But the manager was on break, and no one had the energy to confront them. Tasha came to their table to take their order, notepad in hand, her expression unreadable. One of them, a sandy-haired guy with sunglasses perched on his cap, leaned back and gave her arm a long stare. "Damn, sweetheart," he said, loud enough for nearby tables to hear. "You lose a fight with a deep fryer, or just clumsy with a curling iron?" His buddies laughed. Another chimed in, "Nah, that there's breakup damage." Somebody got tired of her mouth. The laughter grew, cruel and careless. Tasha didn't flinch, didn't blink, just wrote down their orders in that same calm hand. Cheeseburgers, double bacon, extra ranch. Then she turned and walked away without a word. Back in the kitchen, Earl, the cook who'd been flipping burgers at Maggie's since before Tasha was born, looked up. "You good, girl?" "Yeah," she said, without looking up. "I heard what they said." "Still good," she replied. Earl didn't press. He knew better. But as she pushed through the swing doors, she paused just long enough to breathe deep, one of those breaths that feels more like a decision than a need for oxygen. The rest of the shift wore on. Plates in, plates out. Ice refilled. Ketchup bottles wiped. But every time Tasha passed Booth 9, another comment came, each one a little louder, a little nastier. "You think she got gang ties? Look at that mark under the burn. Bet her man don't even ask. Or maybe she don't have one." Still, she said nothing. Didn't stop. Didn't cry. Just kept moving. And then the voice came, not hers. "You boys see a battlefield? Or just playgrounds?" It came from the counter, not loud, but sharp. Like gravel under tire. The speaker didn't stand up, didn't shout. He just turned around slowly, revealing a sunburnt face framed with salt and pepper stubble, and eyes that looked like they'd seen war, not just watched it on TV. His name was Malcolm Ridge. Nobody at Maggie's knew him well. He came in maybe twice a month. Sat at the counter, ordered coffee black, rarely talked. But in that moment, he didn't look like someone passing through. He looked like Judgment Day. The roofers at Booth 9 paused. The sandy-haired one scoffed. "You say something, Pops?" Malcolm took a slow sip from his mug, set it down, and said, "Yeah. I asked if you boys have ever been to a battlefield. Or just playgrounds." The guys chuckled, uneasily now. Malcolm turned toward Tasha. "That a Juno Wolf insignia under your scar?" Tasha froze. Nobody outside the military ever recognized it. She nodded. Malcolm rolled up his own sleeve. Same insignia. Same mark. Faded, but there. And suddenly the room shifted. He turned back to the booth. "We served together. Not in the same unit, but same ops. That scar? That came from pulling 2 men out of a burning transport in Syria, after a roadside IED lit it up like a Christmas tree. Her left arm was on fire when she did it. She passed out after saving lives." The roofers didn't laugh now. They looked at their plates, looked at the table, looked anywhere but at her. She didn't do it for glory, Malcolm added. She didn't do it for rank. She did it because some people don't run when others scream. And you sit here, mocking her, like she's some damn punchline. Silence stretched. Forks paused midair. Malcolm looked at Tasha. You want me to stop? She shook her head. Good. Because they need to hear it. What followed was a story Tasha hadn't told in years, and Malcolm told it for her. The convoy. The explosion. The fire. The chaos. The moment she decided to act when others froze. How she pulled a medic named Keen out, even as her own uniform burned. How she screamed for water and none came. How she made it 10 more feet before collapsing from smoke. By the time Malcolm stopped talking, the entire diner was still. One of the roofers quietly placed a $100 bill beneath his plate. No note. No eye contact. Tasha went back to work. Didn't make a scene. But when she brought Malcolm a fresh cup of coffee, she said, "On the house." He nodded. "Still walking through fire, I see." She managed the smallest smile. That night, she found his card on the receipt tray. VFW Hall. Thursdays. No pressure, it said. A week later, she walked into that hall. Not to speak, just to sit. But before long, someone asked if she wanted to share. She said no. Then yes. Then maybe. The stories flowed. A man with hearing loss from Fallujah. A woman who lost her best friend in Mosul. And then Tasha. She spoke slow. Soft. I remember heat. Not fire, just heat. That kind that makes you want to sleep. I remember thinking maybe this is it. But then I saw Keen. And I couldn't leave him. I just couldn't. When she finished, nobody clapped. Just nodded. Respect quiet as thunder. Back at Maggie's, things changed. Not loudly. Not overnight. But they did. People stopped whispering. The same roofers came back, but this time tipped double. One brought his wife. Another apologized not in words, but in silence that meant something. One afternoon, a little girl asked, "What happened to your arm?" Tasha knelt down and said, "I got hurt helping someone." Did it hurt? Yes. Are you brave? Some days. I think you are. And somehow, that mattered more than all the medals she never framed. Weeks passed. Tasha started wearing short sleeves. Not every day, but often enough. The stares faded. The questions stopped. One Friday, she brought muffins to the VFW meeting. Malcolm smiled. "You staying this time?" "Yeah," she said. "I'm not hiding anymore." Because sometimes the battle isn't on a road in Syria or a field in Kandahar. Sometimes it's walking into a diner every day with scars you didn't choose and holding your head up anyway. And maybe the bravest thing you can do is let yourself be seen. If this story made you feel something, drop a comment, share your thoughts, or tell us. What does courage mean to you? And don't forget to subscribe for more real stories about real people who remind us what it means to keep showing up.